Few people have said, Kev, you look ridiculous with those baubles in your beard and that Santa hat on. For goodness sake, what are you thinking? I agree. No baubles in the beard today. I mean, this is probably dangerous, isn't it? Hello and welcome to day 5 of Kev's Window Wonderland, and today we're going to be taking over at, I'm not going to try and say it, I am going to try and say it apparently, Rasenball Sport Leipzig, RB Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig in the Bundesliga in Germany. I'm not sure which is flashing more, my beard or the scarf on this accepting the job thing. This is subtle, isn't it, as well? I think I need a longer beard to be able to pull off the beard lights on a more regular basis. But we are here at Leipzig, and Leipzig are a team the media are expecting to finish in 5th place. Presumably there's going to be money to spend here. It's one of the reasons why I'm particularly interested in coming here, because I'm expecting a budget of some kind. Plus, getting to hook up with some of my former players from last year's beta save that I did with Bayern Munich, where I went and signed Timo Werner and Forsberg, and they were both very, very good for my Bayern Munich side. So there's some players I'm familiar with here, and of course the opportunity to play a gegenpress with Werner up front as a pressing forward, which I always really rather enjoy. So they're looking to play attacking football, not sign anyone aged over 28. They want players under 21 years old. They want to work within the wage budget, qualify for the Champions League again through the league, and be competitive in the Champions League. I don't know what that means. I have no idea at all what that means. Obviously, we'll have a look in a second to see how the AI gets on with trying to meet those exact goals. But for now, job number 1 is how much money have we got to spend? Not as much as I'd been hoping for. I'll level with you. £17 million, a £1.3 million wage budget. So there's a little bit of wiggle room there, but we're not going to be going and signing hugely expensive players. Unless, of course, this is the first time where we have to deal with selling a major player during a transfer window, because the likes of Campbell, Forsberg, Werner are players that do tend to sell fairly early on in Football Manager. So it might be that we get offers in for one or all of these. Forsberg, for example, if we're going to be playing a system of an attacking midfielder, obviously I'll try and sign Phil Foden, because that seems to be the thing that I do now. So if we could get 30 or 40 million pounds for this guy from Arsenal, for example, then that does give us a little bit more money to play with, because we've got 75% transfer revenue retained. So there is potentially some business that we can do there. If we have a quick look through all the other bits and pieces, we've already looked at all that. That's all good. Major German transfers, none of them involving us, which I guess is good, because it means we haven't sold anyone majorly significant. What have we done so far this summer? So a fairly quiet summer for Leipzig in general. One player sold for £13 million. Bruma went to PSV, and then £44 million spent. So this is why there's not a lot of money knocking around the club, because it looks like the big signings have already been made. Hans Wolf has come in from Salzburg. That's an internal Red Bull transfer, presumably. Luan Candido from Palmeiras. Ademola Lookman from Everton, and Nkunku from PSG for £11 million as well. So if we have a look at the team report and get an idea of what we might need, I'm already thinking, because I want to do a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress. I know I'm only going to manage the first few games and then put it on holiday mode, but I'm definitely going to be building something with that in mind. So we probably just need 1 or 2 decent strikers, which it looks like we've got. We've got Sabitzer as an attacking midfielder, Forsberg, and Sabitzer again, and Campbell and Wolf as players who can all play in these attacking midfield positions. So we look relatively sorted there. Again, looking pretty good in central midfield. But I think the areas where we're probably going to need to strengthen are all defensive. Centre-back doesn't look like we've got a real proper dominant centre-back. Wing-backs or full-backs, wing-backs are the thing these days. They all, and even the goalkeeper, these are all areas that probably could be upgraded. They're not particularly spectacular signings, but they're signings that probably do need to be made. If we have a look at the media prediction, so the board, was the media prediction 5th? Yeah, media prediction 5th. Board are looking for Champions League qualification, which I think comes from top 4. So we've already got to outperform against the media. Let's see how the AI got on. Okay, then. So the AI did a pretty decent job. A 2nd place finish against a media prediction of 5th. Dortmund missing out on the top 4 completely, with ourselves, Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach pushing their way up into the top 4. Bayern Munich obviously winning the league relatively easily, 15 points clear. That's going to be a gap that we'll try and make smaller, but realistically, if I can finish 2nd as well, I'm going to be pretty happy. I'm really starting to doubt my Football Manager abilities as part of this series. What transfers did they do? They brought in a right back. Makes sense. Did they use him? No. What's the point of that? They brought in a terrier on loan and barely used him. And then they brought in a striker and didn't really use him. So nothing really in the way of additional signings to improve the team. Sales-wise, again, nothing really happening. Yusuf Poulsen, in fact, went to Manchester United for around the £20 million mark. So they've actually worsened their squad and still massively overperformed and finished 2nd. This is it's going to be interesting. Let me go and do this transfer window. Well, folks, clearly the lights have a special impact on me. That has been the busiest transfer window I've done in this series so far. Lots of comings, lots of goings. Summarised here by the fact that we had all 3 of the major Bundesliga transfers. 2 players leaving. Kevin Campbell, not to be confused with Kevin Campbell off of Arsenal in the 90s, went to Manchester United for £30 million. His contract was running down. He didn't want to sign a new one. £30 million, probably not ideal. We perhaps, in a better contract situation, could have got a little bit more for him. But as it was, £30 million was very handy. Diego Dem, no idea. He wasn't going to be in my team. He was like 3rd or 4th choice central midfielder for me. I had some players in mind that I was going to bring in, so he's gone to Bayern Munich for £20 million. Worryingly, straight into their team. I'd like to think we've weakened them rather than strengthening them by sending a player we weren't really going to use. We've replaced him with Davy Klaassen, who is off of, let's pretend he didn't have that year at Everton, via Werder Bremen, but primarily because even I remember him being quite good when he was at Ajax. I've had him in Football Manager before. Seems like, to me, a bit of an upgrade. Already come in, scored a goal, got an assist. Average rating, not as good as you would expect for that, but he's had a decent start with us. We spent £73 million, signed 10 players. Let's have a look at the rest of them. Lots of comings and goings. So the players out is just, that's the summary covered most of them. The only other one is this guy, Stefan Ilsanker, has gone to Bayer Leverkusen. He went there for £3 million. He's another one whose contract was running down. We weren't going to keep him, so he's moved on for anything we could get for him just to free up some wage budget. But as you can see, I brought in quite a few players. There's Klaassen. We also brought in Evander, a 21-year-old Brazilian attacking midfielder / winger / midfield player. And I know this has been a comment I've had on a couple of these videos already. Kev, why are you signing young players when you're just basing this on a season? Although we're being judged on a season, I'm doing this as if I was going to be playing the save long term. I might go back to one or some of these saves at some point. So I'm doing the transfers that I would actually do if I was doing this as a real save. So Evander for £10 million looked like a bit of a bargain. Similar idea with Lewis Bayer, right back, 19 years old, German under-21 international. Not going to come in as our best right back, but he's nearly there. And he's got loads of potential to go on and get better. So, again, seems like an easy decision to make. Similarly, Ludwig Augustinsson on the other side, 25-year-old Swedish international, 3-star current ability, comes in as our best left-back, our starting left-back, and has had a very nice start to life here at Leipzig, having arrived from Werder Bremen. We've got Moussa Niakate, 23-year-old French former under-21 international, 3-star current ability, again, comes in as our best centre-back, has come in, started every game, looking very good. He comes in from Mainz. Obviously, I've signed Phil Foden because if I'm at any major European club, he's the only loan player who's there on my scout reports at the start. Why would I not bring Phil Foden in on loan? He would only be our 10th choice central midfielder, but right up there with Forsberg when it comes to being an attacking midfielder. And again, he's had a very positive start, like we've already seen him have at a couple of clubs so far. But then we've also signed Matthias Zaracho, who's a 21-year-old, already Argentinian international, comes in as good as the other central midfielders we've already got. So this is why I'm not worried about losing Demi and Campbell, because I think we've brought in players who were as good as them, but with potential to go on and get even better. He comes in from Racing Club. Amin Younes is a 26-year-old left winger, 5 caps, 2 goals for Germany, 3-star current ability. Comes in as some backup for Forsberg on that left-hand side, competing with Lookman in that position. He's been around the block a little bit, spent time at Ajax with Klaassen, didn't have the best of times with Napoli, but the fact he's previously played for Germany, that tells me probably worth bringing in for 5 million quid. Ezequiel Palacios, another wonder kid, another current Argentinian international, 2 caps already at age 20. He's another one who's going to come into that central midfield. I think we've massively upgraded this midfield despite losing £50 million worth of midfield player. And then lastly, my youth development man brought in a kid that we're not going to worry about. But that is a whole lot of transfer business. We've started the season well. We're 3rd in the league after 3 matches, 2 points off the top, above Bayern Munich, which is crucial. And now we'll see if we can improve on the 2nd place and 61 points that Leipzig did without me. Well, this is a first for the series. Hold on, I need to put the lights on or else this would be ridiculous. There we go. It's February. We've not even made it to the end of the season. I looked up as I was doing something else on my computer and this was holidaying, and I found out that I was currently unemployed, which suggests I got sacked at some point. I don't know when. I don't know what. I can probably figure out why. Job history. Milestones. So I was sacked on the 4th of February, about 3 weeks ago. As it stands at the moment, Leipzig down in 9th place in the Bundesliga. How is that a thing? How are we down in 9th place? What's happened here? We scored 8 goals in that friendly. Oh, there's some horrible results in here. Knocked out of the Champions League. Horrible. Oh, my word. Some really, really quite unpleasant results. Why is he playing a 4-3-3? Who the hell is this guy? Oh, no. This isn't how we were supposed to be playing. My assistant manager's done the dirty. I bet he's taken over. Look at the state of this. Although, to be fair, a lot of that is after I've left. I got sacked after we got knocked out of the German Cup by Wolfsburg, by the looks of it. Playing a 4-4-2. Still not playing a system that suits any of the transfers I did in the summer. Timo Werner picked up an injury in that game. Wow. Let's have a little look to see if any more signings happened or if any of my other signings did good. No other major signings. So, Davy Klaassen. I'm going to call him a success. Oh, I don't want to go through them all individually. Bayer played 5 games. Evander played 0 games because we're not playing a system that suits him. Augustinsson, not good enough. Niakate, actually not a bad signing looking at that. Phil Foden, playing out of position, still one of the best players, but playing out of position. I left this team challenging for the title at the end of that transfer window. Zaracho has played, but not very well. Younes, not played because he's an inside forward and we're not playing with that system. Palacios has played, but not very well. Again, not a system that's going to suit the way he plays at all. What an absolute disaster. Can I change the way my lights work? There you go. We do a different flash. Pathetic. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.